The strait is open, but the straits have been open for a number of months already, and you just didn't know about it. You know, you as reporters weren't able to get it. I just announced yesterday that we brought a lot of ships through, and nobody knew about it. I guess we did a pretty good job.
Is the Carg Island operation off the table, and are you ruling out boots on the ground
now
at
it
this
would
point?
be. If we signed this agreement, it would be. They weren't so thrilled when they heard that that's what I would have done.
It's been a whirlwind of a day for oil. President Trump canceling strikes on Iran, announcing a possible deal with the regime, maintaining the oil blockade, and ditching for now his plan to seize Carg Island, Iran's giant-ass oil depot.
The commander-in-chief adamant that prices will drop almost immediately after the skirmish. In the meantime, other moves are being made to alleviate shocks in the market. Energy Secretary Chris Wright spending his day meeting with top energy ministers from Greece, Israel, and Cyprus to discuss increasing oil exports from the U.S. to make up for the shortages of fuel through the strait. The U.S. military not going anywhere. CENTCOM announcing that it has disabled a third oil tanker attempting to violate the blockade in the Gulf of Oman.
Today, the cost of crude closing down, finishing under $88 a barrel after news of these canceled strikes. Joining us now, Fox Business contributor Phil Flynn. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's always a why now. And Phil, I'm convinced the why now in getting this deal done with Iran has to do with the dangerously low global energy inventories. We have heard warnings from people at the majors, at the biggest oil companies, say an Exxon, a Chevron, and in Cushing, Oklahoma, the NYMEX delivery hub, we're near the hub's working bottom of about 19 million barrels of oil, and it's at like 21.6, and it keeps dropping. What say you?
I think that's a compelling argument, and it's one we have to take seriously. And I'm hearing from experts in the industry that are ripping their hair out. I talk to clients and people in the industry who say, why aren't oil prices higher? We should be at $150 a barrel. Doesn't the market realize how desperate the situation is? But yet, if you look at the futures prices, they're not seeing that desperation that we're hearing from these experts. And I think it's kind of because of what the Trump administration's been doing behind the scenes. For example, moving 100 million barrels, through a strait that's been closed for months, and nobody had that on their bingo card. I don't think they've reflected the fact that the U.S. is now the biggest oil and gas exporter in the world, and this administration, I think, is one step ahead of the oil market. They're definitely one step ahead of Iran.
Phil, I am reading that a lot of major oil producers around the world are poised, including Gulf countries, to really crank up production if a deal happens, Hormuz is open, and that we could see oil and gas prices actually come down as fast as our president has said. And sometimes he's a little hyperbolic, but I'm hearing people say that could really happen. If this deal gets signed this weekend, what's your expectation come 4th of July for where we could see oil and gas prices?
I see a big gap on the chart from the first night of the invasion, right? We were like at $65 a barrel, then we gapped higher. We shot up to $119 a barrel. I think we get back into the 60s very quickly, right? And a lot of people think, no, wait a second, that's impossible. Don't they realize that when you shut down their production, it takes time to bring it back online? Don't you realize that, even if you open the Strait of Hormuz tomorrow, the production's not going to be there? But there is a lot of financial incentive right now for these guys to get back to work. One of the concerns I think OPEC has, and we know Russia does, is that they're starting to lose market share to the United States. I mean, this has been unheard of. So you can bet your bottom dollar that the minute that strait gets open, they're going to do everything in their power to get production up. And we're going to get into a global production war, I think, as countries fight to maintain market share.
Well, you're talking about the market share that Russia, Saudi Arabia has lost to the United States. And on that point, the U.S. has become the world's top oil exporter. So for 3 months in a row, it was the U.S. has been #1 exporter, exporting crude and fuel of about 10.5 million barrels a day in May, high output. Now, we're producing in this country about, last week, 13.8 million barrels a day. That's about where it was even kind of at the end of last year. But are you worried, though, of the political backlash? Because what the left does with all of this, and we used to be banned from exporting. So they will say, well, you need to just keep all of that crude here at home, rather than having that power on the world stage that you get from exporting and being the world's swing producer.
That would be a disaster if that happened. I don't think the people realize that the power of controlling energy in this hemisphere has when it comes to geopolitics. Just think about this. If we can neutralize Iran, get rid of the nuclear weapon threat, get them to be a traitor with the rest of the world as opposed to a terror threat, that's going to have a huge benefit. Why would anybody want to, turn back the clock on that? So, yeah, absolutely. I know there's some hardcore people on the left that say, whatever Trump does, it's bad. Fossil fuels are horrible, but they're not living in the real world. And that's why the Trump administration's been so successful. They understand not only the importance of energy for the global economy, but also for the safety of the world. I mean, this could issue in not only lower oil prices, but a new era of peace.
That ban on crude oil exports was only lifted about 10 years ago. So it lasted for a real long time, and it'll politically be careful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Phil. Great to see you. Stay safe out there in Wisconsin.
Thank you, guys.
Those Midwestern storms will get you.